Good afternoon, I'm Yolanda Burris. This is for IRPA 5355, Final Project Video Presentation. Today I'm doing my presentation on the legislation being passed regarding funding that impacts Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit organization that operates not only here in Texas, but throughout the United States and impacts other organizations just like it worldwide. The legislation that has been recently passed is in regards to women's health services. And in 2011, that legislation that cut the funding and ended their ability to participate in the women's health program cut funding by $70 million and therefore impacted 285,000 women here in the state of Texas. That meant that 50 clinics had to be closed and that a lot of healthcare services and educational services such as contraception, STD testing, and education had to be ended as a result. Those policies were passed by legislation that was highly Republican and also backed by some religious beliefs because they wanted to cut funding to any organization that was associated and tied to anything to do with abortion or abortion clinics. Recent funding budget cuts have been proposed in January of 2015 that would actually reorder the way that federal funding is currently being processed and would put it into a tiered structure so that anything other than, say, local, state, or federal health facilities or community health facilities would come last when it came to federal funding and therefore pretty much eliminate all federal funding going into organizations such as Planned Parenthood. Now, what we saw from the last budget cut was that it created a $273 million taxpayer debt in Medicare expenses. So $70 budget cut ended up in $200 million, $70 million budget cut, my apologies, ended up in $273 million of taxpayer dollars being spent on taking care of children and women who are having what we have found, 1 out of 3 were unplanned pregnancies. This research has been conducted based on articles, peer-reviewed articles, and has been detailed in my written report. So what I did was I took a look at the policies and decided that I didn't think that these policies were good. They were costing taxpayers money. It didn't matter whether you believed in abortion, whether you were for it or against it. It seems to have been creating a larger problem than already existed. Our medical system has been noted to be overburdened, and this is just creating further burdens. And it also makes it very difficult for those who need healthcare services to receive them. So my recommendations regarding this policy were about fourfold. The first one was that, first of all, that the policies should be revamped, that the funding should not be cut, and they need to go back and take a look at what this organization does and those that are like it, because perhaps they would find that the ends outweigh the means. They're doing more of a benefit than they are any type of negative impact on our society or the psychological or moral fiber of our society. So basically, Planned Parenthood and hopefully its affiliates would need to become more politically proactive. They would need to become lobbying on the proactive side instead of being reactive and trying to defend themselves all the time. Secondly, they would need to find a political advocate who's high profile, such as Michelle Obama, who's about to leave office, who may be looking for a cause to take up in her post Oval Office days and use her to help get the message out. Third would be to maybe approach education about Planned Parenthood services from a standpoint where it's not labels, no anti-abortion, no pro-life, pro-choice. Lose those labels, recruit men to join the cause, and begin at an educational level that says this is what we do and it's good. Lastly, I would suggest that nonprofits of this nature get together, form some type of coalition, pull together their political influence, their voters, their standpoints, and really get out there and let the world know exactly what they're doing while they're doing it and how legislation against them actually hurts the fiber of our society. Thank you.